There is a time to bid goodbye to the old and the ordinary, and to awaken the beauty within. That time is now. It is time to wake up and take charge of life. Awaken to a new way of thinking. Awakening with Brahma Kumaris.
Namaskar. Welcome to Awakening with Brahma Kumaris. We've been discussing with Sister Shivani, and our topic today is again soul connections. Welcome, ma'am.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. We started with strengthening ourselves, first understanding ourselves, strengthening ourselves, not blaming others, and made a platform strong here so that when the child comes, we have a better relationship with a child, with a spouse, and with the whole world. So first we started that we should have a good relationship with our own selves, and we will have a good relation or a nice, healthy relationship with ourselves only when we know ourselves and empower ourselves, right? We've reached up to here?
Perfect.
Now, we spoke about a child, the pregnant mother, how a child, a soul, which is not body conscious, it is totally soul conscious. And that soul conscious baby, the child, the soul in the mother's womb, catches the vibrations and the feelings of the past life. One side is the death and the family he leaves, the soul leaves, and the other side, which is either welcoming or maybe rejecting. And it was very sad that I never could understand that fear and worry about a child can always give that child, that soul, a feeling of rejection. And unwanted was a word which I could not even think of. How can a parent or a father or a mother say that I don't want a child?
No, they don't say that I don't want a child.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't want a child, but my energy that I'm creating sends a message that your coming is already a challenge for me.
It's going to be difficult.
It's a challenge. I'm stressed because of you. See? I'm stressed because of you is the message that's going to the soul. So that is the energy which is not welcoming. If you look at it outwardly, physically, the parent is going to say, of course I want to have a child. But the energy that I'm creating is your coming is creating pain.
Yeah.
I'm not aware that my thoughts, my quality of thoughts, what impact they would be having on me, on the other soul, and then on that soul himself.
Yeah, you give a nice example of a guest coming home, and
Yeah.
and if we start, there are two different things, whether we have less money or more money, resources or no resources.
Right.
But whether either we are getting worried,
Or we are enthusiastic.
Yes.
So it's very
Similarly.
important.
Now, after the child is born, Sister Shivani, the first relationship the child has is with the mother, father, sibling, uncles, relatives, first in the house, a maid, the servant, whatever, nanny. And then comes the neighbor, then the teacher.
That's much later.
Yeah.
That's
So
much later.
the first relationship, when the child is born, there is always a discomfort created in the other child. I mean, not necessarily a stepchild.
Yeah.
Or
The sibling.
The sibling.
Yes.
That also has a lot of effect on the newly born, or on both of them.
Sibling rivalry is taken very lightly, but actually if you study the psychology of children, it has a deep impact on them. We have seen children who are 20, 25, 30 today, and yet they're not comfortable with each other because of the energy that was created when they were that age. There are children, when their parents are away, the little child who's 2 or 3 years old, and then this newborn baby in the cradle, that 3, 4-year-old child actually beats the baby. when no one's around.
Actually beats the baby?
Yeah, in whatever way he can. Obviously, he's a little child. But because he doesn't like the child.
Wants attention.
Doesn't like the child. Here is this new entrant because of whom I'm not getting what I was getting from everyone. So, doesn't like the child.
But the doctors always say that you should have 2 children so that they...
No, that's true. But then the thought process has to be built up by the parents. The thought process, they have to understand that this is not a child. You know, again, why soul consciousness helps. We say, chota hai, bachcha hai, just a child. We don't understand. The costume is small. It's a soul there. And that soul is feeling rejected when this soul has come. So like in any other relationship, when there is another soul who comes into a relationship and there's some other soul who feels rejected, and then at that age we understand that this person is feeling rejected, so I need to make that person comfortable. Similarly, even at this age, that when this new baby is born, this little child, the soul feels rejected.
Yeah, but everybody's attention is on the newborn, and
so it becomes a responsibility, because even if you're giving very good vibrations to the newborn, here is this child, the elder child, but that soul is sending vibrations of rejection, and most important, that soul itself is creating rejection, and so is in pain, and the bonding between these siblings will never take place then, if not taken care of at that age.
by the parents.
Yeah. We have seen children where the elder child has actually pushed the younger one down the steps. That's the amount of hatred. Because it's because of you that my parents don't love me anymore. It's too big a thing for a child to handle, that my parents don't love me anymore because of
You.
So I can do anything to get you out from here.
I have to share everything with you, including my parents.
It's not only just sharing. I just feel I'm not getting what was mine rightfully. And you're the cause for it. So this thing starts at that very young age. So in every relationship, a parent will have to remember they're not dealing with children. They're dealing with souls. You know, when we say they're children, we say, oh, they don't understand, or they'll get used to it. But when we say it's a soul, this is another soul, and we are interacting and connecting with souls, then we do it with more maturity. We do it with understanding that what is this soul experiencing now? And what is the vibration I can send to this child so that the soul gets comfortable? Look at the soul, not the child. This is why spirituality plays a very important role in our relationships, because of body consciousness, we're only looking at bodies. We're only looking at labels, and we're not understanding what the soul is going through. So this is something that a parent has to take care right from before having the second child, has to prepare the thought process if there's an elder child. They have to prepare, the whole thought pattern has to be prepared for the new guest.
So now what is wrong about that lady who told you on the stage when you were having some kind of a conference, she said parenting is a challenge?
Oh, it's not a challenge.
No, it's so difficult to take care of this fellow, that fellow, his emotion, that emotion. Why is it so difficult?
No, it's not difficult if I just look at the child as a soul. Talk to the soul. This is very important. I, the soul, talking to the soul. Then I will talk with absolute maturity and clarity and understanding. Recognizing that this soul is feeling something. Because the costume being young, the child cannot express. So when a parent is dealing with children, the parent needs to remember soul consciousness. This is where spirituality helps in relationships. I'm a soul dealing with a soul. I'm a soul talking to a soul, not a 4-year-old kid.
The moment you say, I'm speaking to a child, your seriousness is not there.
Because then you think, you don't need to explain anything to the child. Or you think, anyways, they don't understand. What do I have to keep on telling them everything?
A lot of
I'm a
mothers and
soul
fathers
talking
make
to
a
soul.
mistake with a 2-year child, thinking that he's a child, he won't understand and do all the wrong things in the world.
Absolutely. Now what happens is it becomes all the more important at that age because the child is not going to be able to express what the child is feeling. A child cannot tell the parents, I'm feeling rejected, you don't love me. Child cannot express. So it becomes all more important for the parent to make the soul understand and send the right energy to the soul, because when the child cannot express, it goes through even more pain. You know, when we are at this age and if we feel rejected in a particular relationship, at least we can go and talk it out to someone. It's very, very important that we have to take care of every thought that the soul is creating, that child is creating when this baby has come. Because every thought that this child is creating his destiny, because we've seen children whose self-esteem can be very, very low because they were not taken care of at this age, because they felt they were rejected, they felt they were not appreciated, their self-esteem is very low, and then by the time you realize that you have a low self-esteem, it's like you're 15, 20 or much later, then it becomes very, very tough to work on your self-esteem. And self-esteem is created by every thought that a parent is sending out to the soul. So if when there's a baby and the parent is sending all the energy of love and attention and understanding to this child, the self-esteem of this elder child who's just 2 or 3 years old, and at the age when the self-esteem is developing, it will not grow. So it becomes so critical to take care. It's a soul creating thoughts and feelings, not a child who doesn't understand anything. Perspective changes. And now as these children are growing up, when we said soul connection means that to build beautiful relationships with children, we need to understand them. But to understand them, we need to understand how my own mind works. We've grown up with a lot of belief systems. And on awakening, we've always seen that our belief systems create our thoughts and our thoughts create our destiny. So one wrong belief system
Creates our destiny in that
can
way.
affect my destiny. But what happens is, because I'm not aware of my own belief systems, I'm actually bringing up my children with the same old belief systems.
Continuing the pattern.
Yeah. I as a parent think that my happiness is in buying a new car, in buying a new house, in buying a new gadget. So my belief system is happiness is in possessions.
So that's what I do with my child.
With my child.
Buy a toy,
Yes.
a new toy car, a new toy house.
A chocolate.
Yeah, anything.
And when I'm buying it and giving it to the child,
The energy I'm putting in it.
yes, is that now you will be happy.
And you're confirming that to the child, and the child, the soul in the child is confirming, okay,
It's creating
this
a
is
belief
happiness.
system.
This is how you get happiness.
This is how you get happiness.
So all his life, that child grows up and he finds happiness in all those materialistic things.
Yes, and then when the child grows up a little more and starts asking for things, and then we say, now this child is asking for too much. But what we don't understand is that when that child was
Small.
this age, we trained the child that happiness is in.
So he wants more and more.
Yeah, and now he wants to be happy.
He's justified.
Now he's not happy with 5 things. So he wants 10 things, and then we say, today's children, they're asking for too much. We trained them. When did we teach them at that age that this is just an object, but your happiness is in the way you think? We never taught the child because I was not aware of it myself. And then a very deep belief system that we teach the child is that whenever you create pain, we don't even say whenever you create pain, but whenever you are in pain, it is someone else who's responsible.
Like a child, when you say, when it falls down, he over a table while he's even learning to walk,
Right.
and we just say, hit the table, bad, this table is bad, I'm going to beat this table. It's not your fault, table was wrong.
Yeah.
This is a bad thing, it is kept in a wrong place.
Perfect.
We start from that child.
And then what did the child just learn?
He'll say that it's not my fault, it's the table's
The table
fault.
was in the way.
Yes,
The table,
was in the way.
and the table is the cause of my pain.
My pain,
Belief system.
yes. Now
Because
this
my
grows.
parent did not teach me, I was not walking the right way. And this pain that I am experiencing right now is my creation. I did not walk properly. My parent just said to me, table's fault,
Yeah.
not your fault. Belief system. Whenever I am in pain,
It is.
someone else's fault.
So that's a stamp.
Yeah.
And parents stamping it.
I grew up with that.
Yeah.
See, at that age, a child, the soul, is developing his belief systems, learning from what we are teaching and watching us with our belief systems. So he's learning that the parent just taught me that the cause of your pain was this table. And it happens every time. Everything that the child hits while walking, they'll say, not your fault, beat that.
Somebody's kept the stone in the wrong place. Somebody came and hit my car.
But what did we think? We think he's a child, he won't understand. This is why the parent will say, easier way is, because what are you looking at that time as
Then
a
he should
parent?
keep quiet.
He should keep quiet. Perfect.
The child
Short-term
should stop.
result. Short-term result.
And immediate, so that I do whatever I want to
So
do.
easiest option is not your fault, table's fault. Child gets okay. But now to explain to the child, your thing, you were not walking properly, and it's your responsibility now that you are in pain. Who'll
You can
understand?
always say, okay, go this way. This is the right way to walk with.
But we said, children don't understand, they're children.
Because we are treating them as children, not
This
as...
is a very, very big thing that has to be broken down. The soul understands everything
From the womb.
from the womb. The soul cannot express.
Because the soul which has an experience of so many births.
Yes, and anyway, soul is mind, intellect, and sanskars.
Yeah.
It's understanding, vibrations, it's catching everything. So if I, the parent, explain to the soul in a very mature manner the right knowledge, the right information, don't try and use the shortcut method. It will do a lot of good to the soul. We'll grow up with the right belief systems.
Still, another belief system is there which says that anger, when you're angry, your work gets fast.
Yeah, and
Easily done.
And when you do things which people don't like, people get angry.
Yes.
This is learnt when I was a child.
Yes, but because I get angry with a child, don't do this. I told you not to do this. So many times you do this. How many times I have to tell you this? I'll get angry, I'll beat you up. And you just don't say that, you mean it.
And
the
you actually
child-
do it.
Yeah. Children are beaten, they get angry, and this is so much of work, and you come and do this. If you don't do your homework, I'll do this. This is another belief system.
Yes, because a child grows up seeing that every time a child has done something which the parent doesn't think is right, the parent gets angry. So, belief system. Every time anyone in the world doesn't do things the way you think is right, you are supposed to get angry, because my parents taught me that.
Yeah, but as a child, the child also gets angry if you don't buy him the toy he wants it.
But from where did he learn that?
From me.
Simple. Now, if I want to change that belief system, you know what happens normally? We have a look, parents taking young children to the malls or,
Yeah.
and nowadays children are very clear what they want there. So they can just stand there in the shop and they'll say, I want this.
Yes.
Okay. And now the parent might say, no, we don't need it, and let's go. The child will again say, I want this. And the parent says, no, we don't need to buy it, let's go. Now the child stops there, starts crying, creates a big scene,
Yes.
starts shouting. Immediately, the parent gives it to the child. Belief system.
What will the world say?
No, but the belief system that is just getting created. When you want your work done,
Okay.
get angry.
And the drama and the dramatic.
Yes. Now, as a parent, it becomes my responsibility to change this belief system. So, let me do the opposite. If a child asks for something with love, with patience and with stability, I can give it. And if I don't want to give it, if it is that no, you are not going to get this, then even if he shouts, even if he cries, we are not to give it. Because when we give it when he shouts, it's a very deep belief system. Children will grow up and the grown-up will say, when I shout, people listen to me. So never ever agree to what the child wants when he shouts for it, when he cries for it, because that's a very, very deep belief system, and we are using it even today.
Yeah, but sister, one more thing, as you said, people would, they say, like you said, if the child has to ask for a thing, whatever he wants, with love, with respect, with stability, you're not teaching him that. Then you say, okay, if you talk to me nicely, if you ask with love, if you be nice and stable, then you'll get it. You cannot do. Where are you doing? What are you teaching? The way you say to the child.
Absolutely.
That also. Baba, can you speak in this thing?
You know what
You cannot say that, okay, I love you.
Right, absolutely.
You
So
speak.
your energy, your vibrations, and your way
basic
of doing
energy is
it.
anger.
Anger. And
So-
your way of doing it.
And what are you teaching him?
He's going to
That
do
you
the same
can't
thing.
do this, you cannot get angry for a toy, you cannot cry, you can't create a drama in the mall, so you better be nice.
True.
So,
So how
That's
do I?
also a wrong
but
way.
how do I teach the child?
by being
By being
what
it.
I want him to be.
Exactly. Not by teaching him what he has to be.
Yes.
Today we are giving them teachings, instructions, lectures, talks, counseling, teaching them how they should be. We just have to be what we want them to be. And the minute we are what we want them to be, we are sending them that vibration. Now with that vibration, if we give them the instruction, it will work. But if the instruction is something else, that you have to be calm, you have to be quiet, you have to be peaceful, but the vibration is of anger, the child will never learn, because he's just consumed vibrations of anger and someone is telling him to be peaceful. How can he do it? So in order for the child to grow up with the right energy and the right belief systems, it will have to be in me, in my every thought, word and action. Then I don't have to do anything.
I've seen that with my own children. I've seen with Meghna, my daughter, my son Vivek. I've seen that.
Yeah, you just have to be it, not
No,
say
I'm
it.
not talking about that anger or the belief system. Even the smallest things, like one day I entered home and my daughter is a little baby and she just picked up the phone. They don't know what is a dialing, the old system, the dial thing. They don't know what the, she just knows that dad does this. And she's, yeah, haha, okay, bye. So I said, what is this? She thought that's to be done, that's all. How the child learns from that age.
Absolutely. And the child is not just learning that this is what you do, they're also learning how you do it.
Yeah, with exactly how I sit.
Yes.
She did that.
And also the way you speak and the way you behave, the way you react, the way you get hurt, the way you get upset. If a child does something wrong, we stop talking to them.
That's very bad.
And then what is the message we are giving them? That if someone doesn't do things the way you want them, stop talking to them. That's a way of punishing them.
So,
Then they will come running after us, begging for forgiveness. What are they learning there?
make others beg.
Then that is the way to teach
Punish
them.
the world.
That's the way to teach them.
Punish the world.
That's
punish
the way
your
they
staff,
will learn.
Punish your wife, punish your staff, your
It's very, very
juniors,
subtle. Very, very subtle. A child has made a mistake. Sit with the child, talk to the child, teach the child, share with the child what is to be done the right way, but not talking to the child, shouting at the child, and then making the child run around, say sorry 10 times and thinking he's realized.
His self-esteem. What happens to the child's self-esteem, and the child becomes so low.
See, every time we have to remember that if we want the child to change, he's made a mistake, he needs to change. Change requires power.
Okay, the change requires power. For myself to change, I need power, or
No, for the child also.
so you have to empower the child.
You have to
Okay.
empower the child. But if you shout at the child at that time, if you stop talking to the child goes into guilt.
And you make him weak.
You're making him weak. So at every step, instead of empowering the child, the parents today are actually disempowering the child because of using these belief systems.
Wonderful, sister. We have to empower a child and not make him week
We'll see next time how we can empower someone.
in the next episode.
Definitely.
And till then, a meditation before we leave.
Definitely. Sit back, relax. Let me detach myself from everything around me and gradually detach from my own emotions. Just being myself. Conscient energy. Creating every thought and transmitting it to people around me. My thoughts, my belief systems, my vibrations are transmitting to the children around me. Let me be very careful because my every belief system creates my destiny. And so every belief system of my child will create his destiny. It's my responsibility to empower the soul with knowledge, love, and understanding. Not a single thought of fear, anger, resentment. Let me be very careful, irrespective of whatever the child does. My role is empowerment, and which means stability, understanding, and power to change. My vibrations travel to my child. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.